Congratulations on the purchase of your Bowflex. You have purchased the best home exercise piece of equipment in the world, overwhelmingly recommended by more personal trainers than anything that's ever been built. And we're going to take you through some exercises because we want you to do it right, we want you to succeed, and we want you to understand it's not what you do, it's how you do it that's going to be your success. Now here to help me is Randy, and I know you've seen him before. Really, Randy should probably be the teacher here. He's an expert in his own right, and he was even instrumental in developing your unit that you have right there at home. So Randy, thanks for being here.
No problem.
Good
to see you.
He's volunteered to be worn out a little bit today, so we're going to make a little sweat going. It's absolutely critical that you take the time, try these exercises first without almost any weight, just with the 5 pounds on there, because you've got to take the time to understand the movement, understand the stabilization, and get it down. You've got to have it perfect, because if you don't, there's no way you're going to succeed. You're not going to build the muscle you want. Without that muscle, you're not going to burn the fat you want. You could even cause injury if you're not doing these exercises correctly. It's up to you. So let's get started here. We're going to take a look first at a chest exercise, and that's done in this inclined position. So lock the bench in place. Check your weight that it's light enough. Randy's pretty accomplished at this, as you can probably imagine. We're going to start with the hands in the down position and keep the shoulder blades back and slowly press to over your chest and stomach. Now notice that he's pushing outward. This is not pushing straight up like your typical bench press, because we're dealing with a different kind of resistance, a different direction of resistance. So you're going to be pushing in a straight line with that cable. And notice that cable going over the top of Randy's arm right there? Yeah, it's not rubbing against him, it's not smashing against his elbow. Perfect motion. Now watch Randy's chest working. You know why? Because he's remembered three things that are critical to making your chest look like Randy's. Number one, he's keeping his shoulder blades back. Randy, show him what happens when you throw those shoulder blades forward and really reach out there the wrong way.
Like this?
Yeah, throw it way out here. See how he reaches way out there and the chest kind of sinks down? He's keeping his shoulder, yeah, right there. He's keeping those shoulder blades back, suck them back now, pinch them together. Now look at that chest come up. All right. The next thing, he was doing another thing wrong there for you, the external rotation. You got to watch that. It's going to be critical that you lead with that elbow. See how his elbow leads the way? His hand never starts going faster than his elbow. But also, his elbow is straight out from his shoulder. Show him what happens if you do it with your arm by your side, Randy. See, a lot of people try to do their chest presses like this with their arms from their side. That won't work your chest either. That's going to be primarily your shoulder muscles. So let's see Randy go through a pretty good set here.
Need a little rest here.
Okay. Randy's going to do about 8 to 10 reps for you. And once you learn the exercise, that's what I'd like for you to think about. Between 8 and 12 repetitions. So let's get started. Notice he's going nice and slow, maybe even a little slower. Now, a lot of people try to make up a little counting scheme, like 2 counts up, 4 counts down. You know, I don't know that it's so important you do that unless you feel it really helps. The key is going slow, because when you go slow, you're able to keep control and you're able to fix those mistakes as you recognize them, rather than going through so many reps, all of them being wrong. So if it helps, maybe you should count 4 up and 4 down, something like that. A little bit slower is always going to be a lot better. You'll notice Randy, he doesn't lose his form the whole way through. All those things we talked about, arms out to the side, shoulders back, no rotation, we're perfect on every repetition. You feel that a little bit?
Oh yeah, starting to get a little shaky too.
A little bit shaky. So when you start getting shaky, you start losing that stability, it's time to stop. It's time to stop. You're only performing the perfect reps. Those are the ones that matter. You ready to do some triceps?
You bet.
You see, from this same position, we can do a little bit of tricep work. We're going to take some weight off. It's pretty strong with the chest and arm muscles working together, but on the triceps, the arms by themselves, take a little off. And notice how quick the change was. Circuit training. Now we're going to start with the arms straight up this time, and Randy's going to keep his upper arm right there. Right there at the end of that press position we just did, only now he's going to bend his elbow and his hands are going to come back towards his head slowly and then straighten out again. Notice how he keeps these upper arms there the whole time. That's your tip for this exercise. The more you stabilize these, the more you'll feel your tricep doing all the work. And notice the range of motion Randy's going through. Notice he goes all the way straight. He doesn't cheat. He doesn't throw it. Nice and slow, full extension. Keep going. You're going to have your set just about finished here. Keep it slow. Now Randy's trying to cheat.
There we go.
That looks good. If you're that female and you're just wanting to get that muscle tone, lose that fat, go ahead and perform the intense set like Randy is, for that 10 or 12 repetitions. But maybe you only need one set. You see, that's one difference. There's a lot of people do 20 repetitions, worthless repetitions, and they're doing 3 or 4 sets of that. Well, they just waste their time. Do one good set like Randy, and girls, you'll see those arms come around the way you want them to. And guys, add a couple more sets, maybe 2 or 3 for you. Maybe you'll look like Randy. Now we're going to go straight to an abdominal exercise that you can do from this very same position. And if I wasn't talking so much, we could move a lot faster between them.
That's true. That's true.
This is really easy. Again, you're going to need to change the weight between each one of these, but you see how simple it is? That's what makes it great for circuit training. It just takes a second. Now Randy's just going to hold these handles right here. He's not pulling with his hands. His hands are just kind of resting here. The movement, of course, yeah, by your abdominals, you see how he's moving his spine? It's a crunch. It's a resisted crunch. And if you want that six-pack, if you want these abs like Randy's got right here, not only are you going to have to get the fat off, you got to have something underneath that fat to show. It takes resistance. It takes building each one of these muscle bellies. The resisted crunch is perfect. Now I'm even going to have you slow down a little bit, Randy. Yep, because going slow is the key. On every one of these exercises, I'd like for you to think slow and controlled. We don't want to throw them. A lot of people like to use a counting scheme, like I'm going to count 2 counts up and 4 counts down. If you have to do that, that's fine. You might even slow it down more by saying 4 counts up and 4 counts down. That doesn't mean 1, 2, 3, 4. That means go slow. If you'd rather not concentrate on numbers and you want to concentrate on the muscle, which is what I suggest, just keep it slow and controlled and think about what you're feeling the entire way. Now, if Randy was to do this wrong on the last one, he'd throw himself up there, he'd use the hip flexors. That wasn't abs at all, was it?
No, it wasn't.
No way. So let's see those perfect crunches again.
Okay, one more
Just
time.
a couple more. A lot of people say, oh, Randy, that doesn't look like full range of motion. It is, isn't it?
It is. I can feel it.
It's as far as his spine will bend, and that's what your abdominals are for, is curling that spine, not moving all this other stuff. That looked good.
That felt good.
Well, you want to flip over and change the bench, and we'll do some back work.
Okay, let's
Sound
do
good?
it.
Now, it's really simple. We're just going to flatten the bench out and lock it in place, and we're ready to go. A little more resistance for a pull-down type thing?
Yeah, let's throw on a 30 here.
This is going to be your version of a pull-down, and it's actually more effective than even using the bar on some machines. We're going to take the straps, and we're going to separate the handles from the pad.
That's simple.
Just this simple. Pulls apart, and then we're just going to slip them over Randy's arms. You see it's right by the elbow here, and he can just grab the cable. Can you get that?
I think I can.
I told you he was an expert on this machine. Now, he's going to scoot way down there so that he can start with his arms up over his head, like you do a regular pull down. But now, as he tightens his lats and pulls those shoulder blades towards his bottom, then brings his elbow to his side, he's doing it all with his lat. You see, one of the biggest problems with a regular pull down is we got to use our biceps. Even when we do it right, you're still going to feel the bicep, right? So he can totally involve just the lat right here. This will be so intense. You remember, though, on every single one of these, what are we doing? Slow, controlled. And if you're a little taller, you might have to scoot down a little further. How many reps you got going there?
Oh, that's about 8.
See, that he could have maybe used a little bit more weight here, because by the time he gets to his 10 or 12, you're not going to be fully fatigued, right?
No, but I can really feel it working my lats.
You feel it squeezing?
Biceps completely out of it.
Yep. So it's really isolating. Because it's isolating, he wouldn't need as much weight on this as he would a regular pull down either. So that's one way you can adjust the resistance, is by seeing, gosh, how tired was I when I got to the end of my 10 or 12 repetitions? You know what I mean?
Yeah, pretty tired. The abs are tired too.
Let's take a look at a row, and this is really simple. All we have to do is spin right around, and you may even be able to use close to the same weight, maybe even a little bit more here. Now, the key to this rowing, which again is for your lats, is sitting up straight. Look at his posture here. See that spine? A lot of people like to really bend forward and stretch, Bend way on over there like you see. A lot of people like to do that when they work the rowing exercise for their lats, but I'm telling you, we need to stay away from that. It not only makes it less effective, it's worst position in the world for your spine. Take a tip, that's important. First thing Randy's going to do is pinch those shoulder blades together and then follow right on through. You can see that working. I don't have to tell you any more, I bet. But watch as he goes forward, only the shoulder blades follow his hands, his spine stays straight. And you'll notice as he pulls in the weight, he's not throwing his whole body backwards. You know how people cheat using everything? He's thinking about these muscles and only these muscles, and he's responding. Take a look at that. He's doing it perfectly. Keep your spine straight. And ladies, do a real intense set, 10 to 12 repetitions of these. And you know when you wear that dress with the little straps or the backless thing, your husband's going to love it. All right, Randy, you ready to look at the low back exercise?
You bet.
And this is a great one for those spinal stabilizers. You got to do it right, though. Now, Randy's taking the straps and he's hooking them at over his forearms, right here at the elbow. And then he's just crossing his arms. And he's going to lock them there. And his spine is perfectly straight. Now watch. As he moves forwards and backwards, he's moving in the hip and stabilizing with the spine. Can you see that? Staying perfectly straight the whole time. You feel him working in there?
You bet. I do.
You see what you want from your spinal erectors, these muscles up and down your spine, middle of your back? You want them to stabilize your spine. That's their most important job, and that's how we're challenging them right here with the Bowflex. Couple more reps. And see, Randy could really use a bunch of weight on this. We could have put, what, 4,000 or 5,000 pounds?
Yeah, right.
He's pretty strong with these.
This feels pretty good, though, that, lower back muscles are fairly small muscles and need to be taken care of the correct way.
That's right. And going as slow and as controlled as he is, a little bit of weight goes a long ways, right?
You bet.
Okay, we're going to head to a new position for the Bowflex. We're just simply going to take this big pad off. We're going to change the weight a little bit. What do you got there, Randy?
I got 2 10s.
2 10s, 20 pounds on each side. And we're going to take a look at some bicep curls. All he's going to do is stand on the foot plate, grab a handle in each hand. And the key here for doing these curls, if you really want to hit the bicep, is turn those palms all the way to the front at the beginning, before you even start. And then as you start to curl, keep your arms by your side. Don't let your elbow go backwards, and don't let your elbow go far forwards. You're going to keep it right here. Don't let it move anywhere. So all the movement is just your forearm moving. You see what I mean? None of this stuff and none of this stuff, because all that will just make it less effective. That weight looks pretty good for you.
It's working. It's working.
You see, your Bowflex resistance, even though it's 20 pounds on each side that he's using, it's not going to feel like 20 pounds with a dumbbell or with a free weight. This type of resistance is totally different. And a lot of people say that it feels a lot harder. So really be careful as you start judging that resistance you're going to use. Just a little pump there, aren't you?
Just getting there,
From this position, we can do a lateral raise, which is critical for the shoulders, but I'm going to ask that you maybe let's take off 10 pounds.
Okay.
What do you say? Because this is a tough one to do, and we want to make sure we do it right, and you've really got to go light on this, because we don't want to be throwing this around. He's going to stabilize his spine again, and he's going to keep his arms locked with a very slight bend at the elbow, and he's going to lift that arm out to the side. That is perfect. Now notice, he's not bending that elbow every time, okay? We're not doing an upright row. That could be a problem for the shoulder also. It's a lateral raise. He's also not just throwing his hand up in the air. Show him one of those wrong ones where people just throw the hand and not the... Yeah, you see that? He is lifting his arm, and the weight's going right along with him. His hand and his elbow moving at the same time, same distance, same slow, controlled speed. You'll be surprised, this weight will sneak up on you. You see the development. It's doing it right now. And this is really critical. Male and female, you're going to need some good shoulders. Keeps you healthy, keeps you strong, keeps you doing everything you need to do throughout your life. How about some leg work?
Let's do it.
Ready for some legs. Now, this is kind of neat. Bowflex leg work, you simply turn the ring on the pin that controls the seat. You'll see what I mean. The seat will roll. And that's what we're going to use for our leg work. For a leg press, a leg curl, and even for calves. What do you think?
Let's grab these 50s right here.
50s.
Let's grab this one.
There we go. Okay, now this strap, this is going to be the key to hooking the resistance up to your body. And it's really simple to use. Let me grab this other side here, Randy.
You got it?
Get this. I would put this down low, so it's not up here in the middle of your back, this lumbar region. Put it down low so it's right at the top of your pelvis. Is that where you think it works best?
Yeah, that's where it feels best.
And I'm going to take this handle off of here, this hand grip.
I didn't take mine off the first time, so we'll pop it off here.
And that way that handle's not dragging around as you go through these leg presses. Now, this is the starting position. He's got his knees bent. And you can slowly straighten the legs and move the feet up to these top bars, the highest bar that's furthest away from your body. And that's a great position to do the leg presses from. Now, here's a couple really good points. The spine, we're always going to keep that straight, right? Think about that first and foremost. Watch the spine. Now control as you bend your knees, because you may not want to bend too much past 90 degrees or so. You may even want to watch from a mirror. From the side, put a mirror beside the Bowflex or position the Bowflex beside a mirror on the wall so you can watch how much bend your knee actually goes through. And slow and controlled, because if you're just flying down there, you can't tell where you're supposed to stop. Remember, you got to do this thing right. Now, when you straighten out, notice the control. Randy is tightening those legs and slowly straightening his knees because he knows that if he just throws it back there, what's going to happen?
The knees will lock.
His knee's locked out, see? And you don't want that knee to hyperextend. It's not going to be good for it, not with resistance placed on it like this. So we're keeping the control, keeping the muscles tight. I bet you can even feel it in your butt, can't you?
I can a little bit right now. Yeah.
So females, I don't know if that's of interest to any of you. Think about it. This is a really great exercise for, you know what I mean. Now, we could even try this other foot position. It's a little bit lower. See how it feels in your knees?
How far do I need to go forward on this one, Tom?
Again, we're looking at the bend in the knee. Don't just see how far the seat's sliding, right?
Okay.
We're going to take a look at the actual bend in the knee, and you're also going to be paying attention to what your knee's telling you. If you ever feel anything that you don't like, you stop. You stop right then, right? And
Right.
the knees are one area where people have a lot of trouble.
True.
Another big issue here is what we call knee tracking. I'd like for you to make sure your knees are pointed the same direction as your toes as you're going through this. I don't want your foot this way and your knee pointed this way. You really got to watch that on every single repetition.
Boy, I really like these a lot better than those.
So Randy likes the lower foot position. So you give it a try and see what you think. You ready for some calves?
You bet. Let's do them.
Same position as far as the machine. You just go back up to the top and place the ball of your foot, not your toes, but the ball of your foot on the bar. And from there, we're going to keep the knees very slightly bent, not locked out, and just bring those heels towards yourself.
You know, I could use a little bit more weight on this one.
Yeah, calves are pretty strong. So you want to do it now? You want to add some?
If you want to, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's try it. I'll just scoot in a little bit.
Scoot in a little bit. I'm going to give you another 50.
Okay.
What do you think? Calves are pretty strong muscles.
All right.
So now you're set up. Probably could even use that for some of the leg presses.
I think so, but you know, depending on how many reps you do, I like to start light and warm them up.
Yep, and the learning stages too. Yep.
That feels good.
So now again, keep those knees in one position, and you're slowly pushing with the ball of your foot and feeling that calf work. And then get a little bit of a stretch on the way down, nice and controlled. You ready for one final exercise?
Sure.
Now this is really the most important leg exercise, and a lot of people don't see that. But your hamstrings, they are so important for stabilizing your knee. And a lot of therapists and doctors think that the hamstring and having really strong hamstrings, especially with sports, are part of what prevents some knee injuries. So really think about this next exercise. You're going to leave the seat in a sliding position. We're going to take the strap, we're going to put it low on the abdomen. No, this won't smash your gut. This will not reduce your waist, right?
Right.
But we're going to use the sliding seat and hook the heels over the end bar. And you see this little padding down here? It'll help you get some grip on that thing. And slowly bend your knees, drawing yourself towards the end of the machine. And I guarantee you will feel this in your hamstrings. You may feel it a little bit in your calf too, and that's fine because your calf is trying to assist your hamstring on this exercise. But it's definitely a good one for hamstrings, huh?
Definitely. You got to control it, and that's where the key comes in right here.
Yeah. And if you just let it go flying back there, nothing, right?
Nothing.
Yep. So control is the key. Do not ignore those hamstrings. All right, ladies, I feel like I should say this segment is especially for you. But truth be known, these exercises I'm going to show you, they're great for everybody. Now we're going to talk about some hip exercises, and you've seen them commonly done in the gym. The first thing I want to clear up, these exercises I'm showing you are resistance exercises. They are for strengthening these muscles. They, or no other hip exercise, will burn fat off of this or this, okay? There's no such thing as spot reducing, so get that out of your head right now. By working your body overall, head to toe, getting that muscle up there, then you can look like Nisha and be nice and lean. And she's going to help us out right now with these 3 hip exercises that you'll probably be interested in and you might even talk your husband into. The first one is hip abduction. So Nisha, if you'll stand right up there, she's going to put her left foot up on the platform and we're going to do right hip abduction, simply moving the leg away from the body. Now I'm going to take the handle and spread that handle apart again. And that's where she's going to place her foot. We'll slide that all the way up near the ankle, and if you'd like, you can even secure the handle closer to the leg. Makes it nice and snug. Now, the trick is to go super light, get a feel for it, and stabilize the spine. Notice that Nisha's got her hands over here on the power rods. It's going to help her stabilize. She's going to keep this left side nice and tight, as well as these muscles, and slowly, starting from the middle, take her leg out towards me. Let's try it. I'm going to have her do about 10, 12 repetitions again. Doing 20 will not help us burn fat, so let's concentrate on building that muscle. These are deep muscles. You can't even see them. But having them there is going to help you stabilize your hip and give you even more muscle to help you burn more fat. Now notice she's only coming out here about 45 degrees. And trying to be a ballerina and throw your leg way up in the air, it's not necessarily the way to do it. In fact, for most people, it's wrong. Moving out just as far as you can while keeping your spine straight, that's the key. If your pelvis is moving around, it's no good. Take the time to do it right. Finished up?
I think so.
All right, let's look at some hip extension, everybody's favorite part. I'm just going to have you turn to the side. Perfect. Now I'm going to take the handle, just a little more room here, and slip it under her foot. So it's right here, right under the arch, and she's going to start with her knee bent, hanging on to the power rods, back straight, and if I get out of her way, she'll slowly be able to extend that leg. Try it. Now, I'm going to have you move this other arm for a second because I want you to see her low back. This is what people really need to watch when you're doing hip extension. Go ahead and give me about 10 good ones there.
Like that?
Yeah, just keep going. See how high she's trying to keep that foot up off the ground? Well, she's going to end up putting a big curve in her low back. So you might think about going a little more straight down, Nisha. Yeah, straight towards the ground a little. There. And as she goes a little bit more downward rather than backwards, she's able to keep her spine in the right position because you've got to realize your hip does not move as far as you think it does. We are not Jean-Claude Van Damme or the prima ballerina, right? So watch those muscles, watch those motions, make them perfect, you'll win. All right, now I've got another good one for you. It's for the adductors, muscles on the inside of your thigh. For this one, I think I'm going to have you sit down. So we'll just replace the pad. There you go. Now this time, we're going to put the strap around the leg closest to the power rods. Now, she's going to stabilize her spine. She's going to sit up nice and straight. She's not going to be pivoting her bottom on this seat. She's going to hold it still. And she's going to slowly let her leg go out to the side and then bring it back in right towards the other leg. And it doesn't need to cross way over. It doesn't need to cross the other leg. Going straight to the middle is plenty of range of motion. Try a couple for me. Nice and slow. Feel it working?
I do.
Yeah. You might even need a little less resistance here. Always adjust the resistance according to your ability level. Not what you want to be, but what you can and are right now. So, if you ever have problems with your knee doing this exercise, we're just going to move it up near the knee. Why? A little less pull on that medial part of the knee, that inside that some people have trouble with. That's actually real common. How does that feel?
Good.
A little better?
It does.
It actually makes the resistance a little lighter too. So take the time to do all these hip exercises right, and remember, like I said, maybe just one set, but keep that set intense. 8, 10, 12 repetitions, no cheating, watch what you eat. You might look just like Nisha when you're done. So for those of you who purchased the leg extension attachment, you really bought yourself 2 other exercises, 2 traditional exercises that are great for your entire leg, because we've got a quadricep exercise in the leg extension, and Randy and I are going to show that to you first, all right? You ready?
I'm ready.
You notice Randy's posture. He's sitting up nice and straight, and that's the first thing you need to do when you sit on this machine at home. He's got his knees over the pad and his feet hooked underneath. So this bottom pad is right in front of his ankle. Next thing he's going to do is slowly extend his legs, and slowly is a key word here. He goes all the way to where his legs are straight and slowly returns. We're not kicking it, we're not throwing it, always under control. Now something else you might notice, if you feel like as you go to the top, your hamstrings are too tight, a little uncomfortable, then do like Randy, and he just moved his hands backwards a little bit, keeping his spine straight. He's just angled back, like he's in his lazy boy recliner, doing his leg extensions. One more trick, and this is a big tip for all you people. You've got to take care of those knees, right? Keep this kneecap pointed up. Randy, I'm going to have you turn your knees out for a second and go through the motion. You're going to see a lot of people do it this way. The kneecaps pointed out. Some people might even tell you to do it this way. I want you to make sure that you've got your kneecaps rolled in, they're right in the center, pointed to the ceiling. So let's take a look at that leg curl now, Randy. All you need to do is flip over and lay right down to your stomach. And the key here is that your knee is lined up with this pivot point. So the end of your quadricep is going to be right on the pad right here. Your kneecap will be just off of the pad. Now, I'm going to have Randy lay all the way down. You're going to do the same thing. Grab onto the edges of the pad supporting your trunk. And the big trick to the hamstring exercise, your hamstrings, by the way, right here on the back of your legs. Good looking muscle if you work them hard too. The key here is going to be to keep the bottom from flying up in the air. You see this happen all the time in the gym, so that's your goal as you start this exercise. Randy, I'm going to have you tighten your hamstrings and just squeeze right through the motion. Again, we're going slow up and slow on the way down. You'll notice he kept his hips right down on the machine. It's really critical. Do one wrong for us. Throw that butt up. You see that? That's what we don't want. And I don't want you having your workout partner sitting on top of you to fix it either. Tighten those muscles, stabilize everything, and you know what? To do this right, you're going to have to use a little less weight than we did on the leg extension. Okay? Perfect. I'm so proud of you for getting this Bowflex. I'll be even more proud of you if you take the time to do it right, learn the exercises, and then once you do, work hard, be consistent, eat right. You'll see all the changes you want to see.